Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tower of Babel podcast. As always, I'm Julian Meush, and I'm joined by Jeremy Kozier.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about the latest film and TV news. A bit of a smorgasbord for this episode. Though it's been a while since we've done a regular show. There's some things we want to catch up on. Jeremy, I don't know if you have any thoughts about the cancellation of Acolyte, but I'm happy to save those for a small screen Star Wars offshoot episode if you prefer.
You're probably going to have to save those.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, wait. I want, I guess I could say good riddance.
Oh, really? You're one of those? Okay.
No, I just thought that'd be funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I knew
that would pull at you.
You know the audience. Exactly. No, That's good. That's just performative. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you can totally derail me there. Oh, just a little bit of housekeeping. Film Club, we're hoping to get in this week for the Patreon subscribers. Hoping to get that in this week. If not, it'll be early next. So just keep an eye on the main feed or sort of the Patreon feed for that. If you want to help support the show, get access to the monthly Film Club, head over to patreon.com/TowerBabbleCast. Jeremy, do you have any recollection of what movie we're doing this month? Because for a variety of reasons, I don't remember.
Yes, it is called Heart and Soul.
Heart and Soul. Okay, and neither of us have yet to see it, right? Neither of us.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it recently.
Okay. Well, this will be new for us. I kind of just need some sort of it'll be fresh for you and new for me. Either way, I kind of just need a little bit of like any random movie will suit right now.
This will do.
Yeah, this will do just fine. I did watch. Speaking of any random movie, I watched that new rom-com. I guess is it that new rom-com? Who's the big hotness from Twisters? What's his name? The new Tom Cruise. Glenn Powell. Right. So he's got this rom-com. And where it's called Hitman. Did you say Hitman?
No, I said Hangman.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, his new.
That's his call sign in Top Gun.
Yes, because he leaves his
Maverick
wingman hanging. Yeah, it's a brilliant, great movie. Anyway, a less so great movie, but fairly entertaining is this Hitman movie where he plays a psychology teacher who pretends to be a hitman, but then by pretending, he kind of gets himself caught up in this world of danger. It's very good. The girl who plays, you probably wouldn't remember this, the girl who plays Bix Colleen from Andor is the female lead, and she's very good. Exactly. Okay, let's get into. I'm not here to talk about Hitman, but I would say if you're looking for something in that vein, you could do much worse than that movie. Okay, just a little bit of, I guess, personal news. That I think my philosophy, Jeremy, here's my philosophy, okay? My philosophy is we spend so much time on this show chit-chatting about all sorts of fun things. Our listeners spend a lot of time, hours of their lives with us. So I'm happy to share, well, not happy to share. That's not the right term. I am fine with sharing some personal information because I think it helps to generate trust with the audience, and I think that's important. So the reason that we haven't been able to do a lot of episodes recently, I did mention we were going to take a break, and that was true anyway. But my brother did pass away. It was a surprise for the family, and it's taken up a lot of time, and it's just been very difficult. So Jeremy was kind enough to help me put together a tribute video for my brother that we shared at the funeral. It really helped Jeremy kind of as a processing tool. So appreciate that. Big thank you again for that. I'm not going to share that widely. I just want to mention it. But yeah, the situation has been complicated. So the schedule for the near future for the show is going to be a little bit rocky. That being said, a couple things I have in the works. I'm looking to bring back friend of the show, Matt Tork. You might remember him from the Film Club for Swingers. He's going to try to swing by the show to talk about Alien Romulus. I want to get a Romulus episode in. Jeremy, have you seen it, Alien Romulus?
No, I've not.
Are you planning to?
Probably not.
Oh, it's a shame. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can wait for it till it gets, on VOD or home video or whatever. And then also, as I mentioned, kind of teased there a little bit with Jeremy, is try to do an offshoot episode with Rachel, talk about the Acolyte cancellation and really the pretty big backlash it's getting from major media publications like Rolling Stone towards Disney and Lucasfilm and their decision making here. Star Wars is in a challenging place, and I think it's worth talking about. So those are kind of some things that we have in the works. But for now, for this episode, because I think I just wanted to get back on the mic. For this episode, we're just going to do a kind of pick'em of stories of the last little bit. I guess first thing we should mention, since the last thing we really talked about on the show was Deadpool and Wolverine, is that Deadpool and Wolverine crossed the Billy mark and is now the most successful R-rated movie of all time. Jeremy, how are you sitting on that movie now, weeks later?
Pretty much the same. I just think it's cool that Ryan Reynolds can kind of continue the victory lap with his shout outs on social media about all the actors involved, cameos, and just some of the creatives. It's just really cool to see. I mean, well deserved, and let's hope conversations with those characters and those casts kind of snowball into something else.
So you're pro Channing Tatum for solo film as Gambit?
Yeah, I think the climate is right for it, and just kind of everything going on in Hollywood. I don't think it's like that quintessential Gambit movie that you would have always thought for. I think it's gonna be something different now, but it could be pretty fun. But also, I'm just kind of on the Wolverine train still, and just very eager to see as the years pass here, kind of where that lies and
like
who else joins the mix.
Take Hugh Jackman? Like, how much more involved will he or won't he be? Is that what you're kind of
just with Secret Wars and I mean the next two Avengers movies, right, with Robert coming back.
Sure.
We had the Spider-Verse or the No Way Home movie with the Spider-Man, Toby. So I don't know. I just think all that stuff, that's kind of the future of the MCU for me. And Deadpool kind of shows us a doorway a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously more X-Men's coming. I'm not too worried about that. I will just say this: I like Channing Tatum as he's fine as Gambit, but it feels like the whole inclusion of him felt like it was like we were all in on the joke. Like to take it seriously feels like you're.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like the movie wouldn't be the serious. It would just have these really badass kind of fan servicey moments throughout, but hopefully it's a cool story at the core.
An extended video game cutscene in some ways.
Yeah. Okay. But because we wouldn't get a Gambit movie, a solo, we're just in a different time too now where Marvel is slowing their projects down. So
right. So a solo Gambit movie could be 10 years away. Right. And there's that's just not going to, it'd be too late by then. I don't know. For me, I'm happy to have Gambit included as a part of whatever version of the MCU X-Men we get. I'd like that. In fact, I like Gambit a lot. I forgot how much I liked Gambit until X-Men 97 came around. I was like, oh yeah, I do.
And to be honest, really 97 is really all that matters in terms of X-Men. Other than Deadpool, Wolverine, and kind of what they were doing, and maybe some of those characters from the movies coming back. But 97 in terms of Gambit, it's holy hell! He stole the show essentially, or that episode. It's kind of what he did, and then the future ramifications of his character and how he comes back. And all the teases and the comic books we know that they're gonna take inspiration from. So season 2 and beyond of that is peak X-Men right now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't normally like commenting on rumors, but what have you heard about the Bo DeMeo situation? I've heard that there was some additional information. It was some sort of sexual misconduct
Yeah, like
it
alleged.
was the reason he was let go. But it's so
it
vague.
just seems like there was like kind of like a little bit of a back and forth between PR at Disney or Marvel in response to, I guess, Bo opening up a little bit more about a specific like situation that led to his credits being absolved from season 2, even though like pretty sure they're using all of his like
spec scripts
because they were like pretty deep into season 2. I think like the animatics or something like that are already done, which is awesome to hear for us. Hopefully the turnaround on that is not too far away.
Jeremy, I watched a video on YouTube last night. Remember Adam Ruins Everything from College Humor? Do you remember that guy?
No.
He was like this redhead with a really high-pitched voice who would just explain why everything sucks. Anyway, he did this whole video about how the streaming services have ruined television. Now, I think it's a little hyperbolic, personally. That's kind of his whole shtick. But I would say I kind of agree with the premise that this this future of TV that we were promised, this Eden, golden age of television, it came and went. We had it, and it's gone, and it may never come back.
When did it leave,
what we have now sucks, kind of. What?
When was the golden era?
I think right around
Spartacus time, like Spartacus era.
Oh, I don't know. Is that
Sopranos,
maybe? I'm thinking like right around
Breaking
when
Bad,
Netflix was. Yes, exactly.
Mad Men.
Right? Exactly.
That's a little bit. I think that's a little bit before
Game of Thrones. You don't think Game of Thrones?
That's before Game of Thrones.
Okay, so you think
that's what I mean? That's what I mean. Yeah. Like it kind of lingers to an extent with like some outliers.
Well, it's hard to, Jeremy, if you know, like
True Detective, right? That came out.
Oh, right. Yeah, season 1. Mm-hmm.
Was that 2018, 2017? Like who? I don't know.
You can't really, cleanly mark the beginning and end of an age, right? They kind of like blend
That's what together. I mean. But I like to just. I'm very comfortable with saying like Sopranos, Mad Men, Breaking Bad, like kind of just around there.
I feel like it has to continue through Game of Thrones because it was the biggest show.
Yeah, that was like the culmination of like the possibility of like what these these things could be.
By the end, like 10 years into Game of Thrones, or whatever, the 9 years in, by the time it was done, it was wrapping up, right? We'd already kind of crossed the Rubicon of the end of the golden age of television.
Mm-hmm. And it played out throughout the rushing of whatever the Game of Thrones
everyone wanting to do their own Netflix, right? And now, this is kind of a part of that whole story about how it's very unfortunate how the Acolyte was canceled in the way it was. But I mean, it's just a symptom of a bigger problem, which is that these companies weren't making money. They were losing money hand over fist, and that was never sustainable. And the promises that Netflix made to us, which was that, oh, you can cut the cable cord and watch all the best content for, $5 a month, was all a lie. It was all a lie. And it was a lie designed to destabilize and
ruin. Been lied to.
Well, it was a bait and switch. And the problem was it baited all of the executives in Hollywood also. They thought that was the future, and they were also lied to. So now we're all paying the price. The bottom fell out, and now shows take 2.5 years between seasons. Like House of the Dragon season 3, which is only going to have 4 seasons. Or is it 3 seasons? Anyway, there's at least one more season coming, but it's not coming until 2026. And, I don't know. Just in general, it feels like everything takes forever. The Boys, the last season of The Boys was a year and a half ago between the most recent one. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I do pine for the days of having, 20 episode seasons. You remember like when we were watching The Flash, late Arrow? That's definitely in part of the golden age of television. I don't need that many episodes of television, but 8 is not enough. I'll tell you. For
me, it was when I was torrenting them.
Yeah,
like I'd be in on the weekly torrent. You wait a couple hours or whatever after the premiere on a Sunday night, even or whatever it was, and then you experience it that way by stealing, I guess.
Yeah, we don't condone theft, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know
and then
mean?
Like I just loved having that hard drive or thumbsticks, like with these files and all these episodes, Sopranos I was doing, and then just diving into shows that you missed, and you could just download those episodes and shoot through them. But like obviously the convenience though of the app, of the TV, of the remote,
yes,
it's
never
all there. But like for me, it's like I don't partake. Like I just think it's just this huge swath of movie posters and lists and this.
Well, it's just a lot of garbage.
You just spend your time going through like which should you what. Whereas cable back in the day was like it just played and you kind of like got like little tastes, like little samples, and then you just kind of sunk into something.
Well, they talk this video that I mentioned. You go check it out. Adam Ruins Everything, dude. But he talks about how like back in the day, used to have channels that were like designed specifically for specific audiences, right? Obviously, HBO was the premium channel, and everyone knew it meant the best television, right? But you could watch sci-fi, and that would be where you could catch things like Firefly and Star Trek, or you could watch, the ABC comedies were going to be decently good. I mean, what happened? Like, there's no new sitcoms. Not that you need them, but I will say this, Jeremy, and you can make fun of me if you want, but I've been watching That 90s Show on Netflix, and it's
I caught a couple episodes. It's cool because you get the older, like the older cast, or grandparents now, or whatever.
Yes, but to be honest, they're so smart for understanding that those are the best characters of the original show. So, like,
but Kitty, they also like they're probably more down to kind of do a different take.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah,
but I mean, I just in general, I just feel like it's refreshing because it's such
Fun House came back and came and went. Full House.
But again, like this season
of its moment.
This season of 90 Show only has 8 episodes in it. It's like
it's just funny how like as time goes like flies by, we just have all this trial and error and we can measure what worked and what didn't and amount of episodes
but it takes years to like course correct. It's like, shoot, we made a decade-long mistake. It's now going to take 10 more years for us to be able to recover.
But it's just how it goes, right? Even movies, like movies come out that are ahead of its time, and then it has its day later on in life.
That's true.
It's just wild.
Speaking of something that has come out and didn't have a ton of episodes, but is a throwback for sure. Batman Cape Crusader. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I've been thinking about it for a while and mulling it over. Jeremy, you said you've seen a couple episodes, but where are you sitting on it? Overall impressions.
Yeah, honestly, I just wasn't able to kind of get into it. I don't know. I just have to kind of maybe just give a couple more episodes or something, but it just didn't jump out at me like X-Men 97 is doing for X-Men and Marvel.
Sure.
Like, I think. I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, but like it just doesn't seem that way in terms of what you see online. Like, I just think it does feel like it kind of came and went.
Yeah, that's probably, it deserves more buzz. I would say that in general. X-Men 97 is the perfect analog for this show because they're both originally from the same era. I remember watching Batman the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series, and X-Men the animated series all on Saturday morning. In some cases, it was in syndication at that point, but either way, they were synonymous with each other for me. I think, and these are kind of broadly held opinions, I think, in general, that Batman, the animated series, the original, holds up as kind of a timeless piece of art, deserving of the Emmys it won and all that kind of stuff. And that X-Men, the animated series, it's original from an animation perspective and some other kind of technical side of things, doesn't hold up as well, but was a major reason that the X-Men as a cultural phenomenon hit so hard for our generation. So they both, and like you can make the same argument for Batman. So for me, it's such an interesting case study of like two very different but similar kind of approaches to taking these original properties and reviving them, because they're designed specifically. They've been tailor-made for us, Jeremy. So that's kind of, I gotta admit, that does feel pretty good. I like to know that we're still valuable to these corporate people in some way. That being said, they're just so different in their approach, because Batman Cape Crusader brings back the original talent, right? The original creator in Bruce Timm. And his whole motto coming into it was he didn't want to just do more Batman the Animated Series because that was the original. That's what Amazon pitched him. They said, hey, we want you to come back and do more BTAS, right? And he said he wasn't interested in that. And then when he came back to them and told them that he would be interested if he could do something like a fresh take, that's when we got kind of what Batman Caped Crusader is, which is this 30s, 40s era Gotham, which was always, the original Batman the Animated Series had this kind of like not unspecific time frame. Like there was computers, but also it looked like it was the 30s, whereas this is firmly placed into that time frame, that 30s, 40s time frame. There's some bit of fudging.
But just a quick side note, the new Watchmen Chapter 1 animated movie, which obviously that story takes place in the 80s and like obviously jumps around before that. But they have like all futuristic kind of like cars and stuff that kind of like, it's not super overbearing. It kind of just, it actually somewhat fits into the world and the colors just because of like the use of like the neons and whatnot. But the buildings still all remain like kind of gothic or whatever. But
so it's kind of it's similar to Batman the Animated Series in kind of its unspecific time frame.
Yeah, like it just like I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like those are like futuristic vans and taxis, not like super overbearingly futuristic. Maybe just more like kind of these like vessels, these like round vessels,
like retro futuristic.
Like there's even like I think a charging station just like sitting there. Like at
really?
one point, like there's not gas. Like it's not gas.
It's so odd. I mean, they get set in an alternate future, and I understand all that. But again, quick side note we'll come back to Caped Crusader, but I just have no interest in watching that part one.
Yeah, it's
how many are they?
brutal.
2 parts?
Yeah, I guess there'll be 2. Maybe it's
like this is their new thing where they don't make one movie; they make like 2 or 3 movies as a part of one thing, and it turns me off a lot. I know they've done this before, obviously, like part 1 of Long Halloween and part 2, and like that makes sense to some degree. But
I don't mind it if it's a double part.
Yeah, but it needs to be earned, I think. Well, there was 3 parts for Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that was really bad. So maybe that's just what burned me out on it.
Like,
I don't know.
What is even happening?
It's the most.
But with Watchmen, it's crazy. I remember when we talked about the announcement of it, like, oh, this should get you excited. It's like, yeah, anything more Watchmen, sure. But like, it just feels so bland and like this weird AI version of like maybe like the live action movie.
Right.
It's so it just, and then like the animation these days are weird because it's almost like a hybrid, like 3D cell shaded, like odd moving. Like it's not just like a straight up cartoon anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's weird 3D dimensional like
it doesn't
like
look
space.
Clean in the way it should, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the music seemed okay. I don't know. It just was like what's the point? Like I'd rather watch like the voiceover of like the comic that like the animated comic.
Oh, that's right. Right.
It's like a 10-hour
comic.
Yeah, it's just a motion comic one guy's reading. The only downside of that one is that he does like the girl, like female voices, and it's just like
he's like, oh,
a guy, like just doing that. But it's cool to see the actual comics like moving, like the actual artwork by Alan Moore or Dave Gibbons. Sorry, Alan Moore is the writer. But yeah, it's just like just watch the live action. Like it's so much better.
Well, I think like as someone who we talked about this before, but just I think, and we agree that the Watchmen, the live action Zack Snyder movie, is way ahead of its time. It just came out in the wrong time, and it's not exactly 1-to-1 with the comic. From it, they make some changes in the story and stuff, but there are so many like frame by frame recreations of the actual comic in the live action movie that to do it again in the animated form feels so redundant. Like, what do we need the animated version from? We already have almost a shot-for-shot remake.
You don't get like that needle drop kind of like music, like the score choice that was like pretty bold at the time and like so widely successful in terms of its choices. Maybe a couple were made fun of here and there, but like you get that it's like pretty like normal now for these movies to have like a bold soundtrack with like classics. and like you're not going to get this in this animated movie, which is like a little disappointing.
Does it include the Dark Freighter or Black Freighter or whatever it's called?
Yeah, it does. And that one, it's like, man, why am I watching this when we have
the other animated version?
Yeah,
with Gerard
which
Butler?
is part of this. Yeah, with Gerard Butler, it's like so much better.
This is what I mean. It feels like I don't understand what the point of this even is.
Well, I think you got to remember, like, because they revisited Watchmen, like they're always going to, because it's such a cash cow, and it's such a major thing for Warner Brothers, I guess, in DC, like in terms of critical, like, because that's like the only book or whatever or like comic book that's on the Times 100 best novels.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? So Watchmen is huge piece. But they made the show, which was a sequel to the book, essentially, by the Lost creator Damon Lindelof, which was widely successful, critically especially. But that was kind of a one-off. And so this is kind of like them just kind of continuing, like, hey, remember Watchmen? Like, but it's just, this is the wrong, like, give us something more in vein of that show, or nothing, basically. Like, it's
right,
you know what I mean? Or like a new video game or something, but like even then, like just feels weird.
I feel like there's no way you could make a Watchmen video game.
Well, we had one. There was a tie-in movie game.
Well, I was just saying,
the Watchmen, the end is, it's cool. Like, it's obviously a lot of nostalgia for me. Like, I have the PS3 version, had a bunch of posters included into it. You got, like, it's super tied into the movie. It looks exactly like the movie. It was called The End Is Nigh. Watchmen, The End Is Nigh.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a cash grab to me.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I adore Watchmen. Like, I just absolutely adore it. One of my favorite things ever.
But you're the mark, right? Like that.
True, but I recognize this piece of like, I bought the Blu-ray, and like I forewarned you, there would be no slipcase.
Well, you didn't forewarn me. You made it clear to yourself that there would be no one.
Right, because the official image on like where it was listed, you could just tell it was like just like the plasticky case, and no.
But also way overpriced. How much did you pay for the Blu-ray?
Well, it was only $25 at like in the Walmart, like in person.
Okay.
I don't know why it was $39.99 on Amazon.
I don't know.
But it's almost like they're trying to just kind of force the 4K edition on you, $5 more. And you get multiple discs in there, because I think it comes with the Blu-ray.
You get the Blu-ray and the 4K.
And the 4K. But sometimes it's just the 4K, and then most Blu-rays now, they used to have the DVD and the digital. Now it's just the Bluray, and it's still more expensive.
You don't need a DVD anymore.
Yeah, but I don't mind. I don't mind it being that. And there's a lot of cases where, like, when they've done restorations, I think Batman Beyond, they couldn't get a few episodes onto Blu-ray. So
they just weren't able to, or like,
some sort of file corruption happened. But then some, that's even tragic. Friends, I think there's more episodes on the DVD than the Blu-ray one.
That's wild.
There's just like certain things that like can be lost during that like HD transfer.
It's so crazy how much we lose when we do these kind of migrations over, right? And you'd think if you have stuff on film, like a lot of this early stuff is, it wouldn't be that hard. But I'm just thinking about that James Cameron response to the whole, what was it, The Abyss and Terminator 2 or whatever. And it's just like, that's important to me. It's weird because I want to agree with his like general sentiment. Let me read it.
But he backs up with saying that he has a whole team and he went through it and that's how he wants it to look. He's basically just saying that like whoever's critiquing it is wrong. But then like we shared some images that people were capturing, like these Blu-ray enthusiasts, 4K enthusiasts, and they just like, it's a whole other language for them in terms of the audio quality and how they measure it.
Sure.
And then the visual quality, and they compare it to the 1080p Blu-rays. In a lot of cases, when they showcase these images online for us to see,
it looks worse.
Like clear as day that the Blu-ray is like better than the 4K. I think Man of Steel suffers from that as a popular one. American Graffiti, one of George Lucas's movies, suffers from that.
Early one. Yeah.
So then when I see that and I'm trying to collect 4Ks and these movies are like movies I want, it's like, man, like, okay, I got to make sure I have a Blu-ray of this movie as well, because like you never know for that scenario where you want to like kind of like see for yourself or just have the best possible experience. It's just like that perfectionism that kind of comes out, I guess.
Well, and even I guess like we talked about this before, 1080p is pretty good still.
Oh,
Like,
it's fantastic.
If you get like if you get an actual Blu-ray,
it's amazing.
Put that in it looks great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 4K looks great too, but like you don't really get to. It doesn't look that much better.
like you saw the Blu-ray. Like I pick up Blu-rays on the regular, like $5 ones, whatever. Like it's the new DVD to me, basically.
That being said, but like so the hi-fi people can be annoying about about that stuff. And I think maybe that's where James Cameron's coming from. So here's what he says. He says, when people start reviewing your grain structure, you need to move out of mom's basement and meet somebody, right? I mean, I'm serious. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? I've got a great team that does the transfers. I do all the colors and density work. I look at every shot, every frame, and then the final transfer is done by a guy who has been with me for years. All the Avatar films are done that way. Everything is done that way. Get a life, people. Seriously. But it feels like he's gaslighting me because, again, we can look at these pictures.
Yeah,
with our own two eyes.
I specifically remember the True Lies one where like their faces do look a little plasticky, as they're saying, or just kind of smeared with color. Like the grain's kind of gone, or it's too grainy, and it's just like it's kind of unfortunate. Like, but like to the average movie viewer, like they wouldn't care. But like as the average movie viewer buying the 4K restorations. And it's like probably not because what are the sales on these things? Like it's got to be pretty niche.
They're not exactly. It's like, hey, if you're making this stuff for people who care about that stuff, you got to care. Like you got to do the work. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, it just feels like you're kind of.
But you got to take his. I mean, he listed his whole process there. So like,
sure,
you got to give it up to the GOAT.
Yeah, I guess we just ultimately disagree with his taste. It's weird to disagree with James Cameron on what we think looks good, I guess.
Yeah.
But
and by the way, I think we got some little tidbits on the new Avatar movie, like something about Fire and Ash, I think it's called.
Yeah. Wild.
So that's exciting. That's next year, I believe, which is insane. I love that turnaround time from Avatar 2 to 3.
100%. Well, the first one was too long, like the break.
Over a decade. And then also, I believe his name is John Landau, the producer, R.I.P. I think he died a few months back. Very unfortunate. Yeah, because I was just seeing so much interviews of this guy, and when watching Avatar 1 special features, when I dove into Alita Battle Angel, which he heavily produced and kind of got that project off the ground and was working on the potential sequel for that. And then obviously just, James Cameron's producer friend just on all these Avatar movies, and like Titanic, Oscar winner. So that sucks.
63. It's young too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, there are certain people within like Hollywood, you get inducted into like Hall of Fames in sports. You get inducted as a player or as a builder, I like to kind of complete the analogy here. Actors and directors feel like the players, right? Whereas like producers, especially these types of producers, really feel like they're the builders, right? And there's a distinction between the good ones and the bad ones. Like there was news just the other day, I think even yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, about Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm extending her contract through at least the second quarter of 2025. So, middle of next year, basically, right? And in general, I think you could look back, just like John Landau, you could look back and say they had a clear and present impact on the types of movies we saw for a long time. And because of that, we got better movies, right? And I feel conflicted with the Kathleen Kennedy one. Obviously, she helped produce movies like Indiana Jones, and many more. E.T.
Lock her up.
It's crazy, but like on one hand, she's gotten a lot of hate for her running of Lucasfilm and Star Wars, right? That being said, we've got a lot of really good stuff out of it, including The Last Jedi, The Mandalorian, Andor, etc. Right? But we've also got a lot of stinkers. And this, again, not to get into the nitty gritty of the cancellation of the Acolyte, although it is kind of seemingly casting a shadow over all this, but I have been hesitant to like blame her for a lot of this work. I think my biggest problem I have with Kathleen Kennedy is it's not clear to me whether she doesn't have the backbone to stand up for projects that like the Acolyte, or she's actively involved in the cancellation of those shows, just as the most recent example. But she seems awfully willing to bend to the will of the loudest, most annoying people on the internet. It happened after The Last Jedi. It happened with the Acolyte. It's happened with Kenobi and all. Like, it just, there's so many of these examples where instead of committing to a vision of their own, it happened after Solo. That's another one that drives me nuts. We should have had a Solo 2 or some sort of follow-up to that movie already, but because of their own mismanagement, their own kind of faltering in how they and when they release that movie, it's now like blacklisted, and they don't recast characters now. We just get these CG abominations of Luke Skywalker, where I would like her to have a little bit more of a commitment to her own path, right? Like, she let Rian Johnson make a movie, but then ripped the script away from what's his name, who was doing episode 9, to give it back to JJ so he can reset things again.
It's not show friends, it's show business. It's just a bunch of people. It's not about that. It's just a bunch of people just not sticking through on a narrative plan, and then other creatives wanting a turn.
But isn't that bad business? They go and
do something. But
like,
everyone's involved with
like
it.
Bad business.
Everyone's involved with it, though. Everyone wants, like, you're recasting Superman. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing all these things. Everyone's part of that. Everyone wants to do their version, their take, and then it's just a big mismatch.
Yeah, but I think that causes there to be a loss of trust from the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I can't be confident that I can watch an 8-episode television series that clearly sets up a second season is not going to get a second season, that's going to, rub me the wrong way and make me feel less good about the brand, right? And so constantly, saying, oh, this is not working, let's do this. Oh, this is not working, let's do that. Instead of having a commitment to a vision that you believe in, I respect not everything's going to work, right? But if you said this is what it's going to be, and we're going to, and even Marvel's been guilty of this lately, this kind of reactionary movie making. They're trying to chase this like amorphous cultural what's the word I'm looking for? Target, right? That's constantly shifting, right? This movie's too woke. Oh, it's not woke enough. Oh, like all this kind of stuff that's should be completely separate from the movie making process, but instead is influencing so much of the decision making at this executive level, seemingly, again, because we get so little transparency about this, that you kind of have to draw that conclusion. It's infuriating to me. Like, it's so frustrating. But
obviously, if you like the show, you're going to be infuriating regardless.
It's not just about the Acolyte.
And if you didn't like the show, you just feel like you were right, and then you beat down on the people who like something.
Yeah, it's weird.
You're in right? that.
But again, it's one thing for the fan base to be like that. And by the way, there's a really great article over at Rolling Stone that you should read about this, but that talks about kind of like how the Star Wars needs to reckon with itself and understand. It needs to make a decision about what it wants to be. And right now, the future is very murky at Star Wars, and it's very unfortunate. I don't know. Where do you feel like with the brand of Star Wars right now, Jeremy, as someone who's kind of not even been involved in the last several years? I think that's an indictment in of itself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it just kind of sucks. Like we got teased, with Obi-Wan, like that was such a, exciting turn of events. Like, okay, that's cool. Like they're all coming back.
Right. But even that was like,
but that just ended up being disappointing and just kind of flat, and like had some elements that were really cool, and like, certain elements can pull on your heartstrings or your nostalgia, or you're just kind of love for these characters and where they've been and how you know them. And like the actors did a fair job kind of evoking that, but just as a whole piece, as like this show that you'd love to go and revisit and like have this like Star Wars adventure to it. Yeah. The tones are all off because it's like it has to be very serious and emotional, but then it's like fun and lighthearted in certain moments. So trying to be too much at once. But then like we also agreed that it could have just been like cut down to like a 3-hour movie or something like that.
Yes, 100%.
Which would have been really cool, but.
I don't know if that's still coming out, but there's a fan cut of that being put together. They're like shooting additional like scenes so that they can stitch it together better. And I don't know where I find it or if it's legal, but I want to see that cut of it because like there's so much that's just not
and then
good.
Obviously, Mandalorian kind of like prop Star Wars up again as like this huge thing, but then season 2, I guess, was kind of
season 2 is its peak, right? That's when it ended.
Oh, okay. Well, 3 then, I guess. Is
there season 3 is where it kind of
deviated. But then they're kind of refiguring, resetting, and they're just going to make a movie with those characters,
with maybe one of the worst titles of all time in Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a brutal title.
Well, they're just not good because it was almost like that was cool, and they couldn't pivot away from that. They had to pivot like back to it to make it like that's what the Mandalorian is.
Commitment. This Book of Boba Fett, right? Like, hey, we're gonna make this show about Boba Fett, but we're gonna put 2 episodes of the Mandalorian in it. It makes no sense, and we're gonna undo the things that happened at the end of season 2, which felt like it had big stakes. They're allergic to stakes in all of these franchises. It's insane.
But specifically with Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever, like that just kind of took a chokehold on everything. Like it's like it lives and dies by it.
Yeah, we have to
make everything, and we're going to live by it for a while.
Exactly.
Sell the merchandise, do the movie, but we could have got like this Western, bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Building out the lore of what a Mandalorian is and the religious stuff to that, and how it fits in the greater universe, how he goes up against other adversaries or.
Right.
We get elements of that.
Back. Grogu has to come
and I guess they can do those things around that, but it just seems like, okay, like, yeah, that was like lightning in a bottle, this Grogu character. Who would have known? And it has this cool elements of old Star Wars in terms of the practicality of the puppet of him. It's interesting, all those elements. But I think it's cool how they reset and decided to do a movie instead of, because I think drawing things out is kind of like cringy now. Like you kind of have to find that, like, we're doing only 3 seasons or 4 seasons.
Well,
Game of Thrones went on for way too long. Like that was such a cool time period when it first boomed and was flourishing with its seasons, that it's almost like you want more, but then looking back,
I don't think you could do it now. I don't think you could do a 10 season show like that. Really,
because even House of Dragons is gonna be 3, right, or 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. We don't know how many seasons Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is going to be.
But then Game of Thrones was in a specific situation where it was like this biggest thing ever. So why would you want it to end? Plus, the books weren't finished, so you're trying to like hold up for that. But then you surpass it.
Yes.
And then for some reason, they don't give you the proper budget or time because also the actors want to do other things.
Do you think they ever remake the final season?
No,
I think they go
that's never going to happen. That's ridiculous. You don't remake something.
I agree with you, but it's crazy how much of a like complete collapse the entire series is because of that final season, right? If you could you can
find people who like it too, though. So whatever. I don't know anything about it. I just know how things can get rushed, and it's just unfortunate.
Apparently, they're all burnt out. They were all burnt out. They wanted.
Yeah, and like I said, I was saying, Stranger Things, right? They're filming that final season right now.
Christ.
And that one went on too long, but they're also kind of in agreement, like, yeah, let's end it on really good terms. Let's come up with a good, like, and the budget for those episodes were record breaking, I think, right? For the last season, something like 30. I want to say like 30 million or something for an episode, or something crazy like that.
Crazy number,
or 15, or.
But at least they get to go out on their own, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what's his name? I think the director of Deadpool is doing. He's a producer on that show, and he's directing some episodes.
Sean Levy?
Yeah, Sean Levy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're in a different era of television. I just, kind of putting a final note on the Star Wars thing, which is that another kind of like thing that frustrates me about this Kathleen Kennedy era is this, like, after episode 9, we haven't had a movie, and it's been 5 years now?
Well, they had that announcement with all these crazy eras with these logos and how we're just going to jump in and out of them.
And then
we're getting a Rey movie out of nowhere. It's like, what?
Yeah. So a new Rey movie. We're going to get a first Jedi movie from James Mangold. Or there's supposed to still be a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie. Again, the Kathleen Kennedy stuff, you could, if you want to look at directors, how many directors went in and out of some of these pictures, it's in of itself embarrassing. But I just think they're cold feet about coming back to the big screen. It's like, what are we doing?
Movie.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then all these creatives have like a bomb or like a creative like misstep or a stinker at the box office, and it's like they're canceled.
Yeah, it
like
does make
Taika.
Sense.
Well, like Taika after Thor, Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which doubled down on the previous Ragnarok, which was wildly successful.
Yep.
Then you have Kathleen Kennedy after Wonder Woman, which is a major success with a bombing of Wonder Woman.
That wasn't Kathleen.
Oh, sorry. Similar, isn't it similar? Like something.
It is close. Oh man. Was it Catherine Bigelow? No.
Yeah. No.
Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Catherine Bigelow's like Hurt Locker,
but
right?
Yes, she directed. We're talking about the Wonder Woman director, and then Wonder Woman 2, which is Patty Jenkins, was just brutal, bombed, and then she's kind of like, then she's kind of axed from like Star Wars.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like this weird. It's like cancel culture type. I mean, even Ryan Johnson,
the Game of Thrones
was just basically removed from Star Wars.
Yeah,
but he's just thriving on his own because he's an actual creative, like
because he's actually good at what he does. Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Whereas Taika was kind of like exposed, like a little bit on the third. On the.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, if his like, you don't think that Jojo Rabbit was a good movie? Because I think it's a.
I don't remember if I've seen it.
That's
no. I just mean like he was exposed in terms of what he was trying to do at Marvel and how he was like his process. Like he didn't care about like special effects.
It didn't fit for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But like, I would have been open to seeing a Star Wars movie with his fingerprints on it. It's like, what's a Taika Waititi funny Star Wars movie look like? I feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a pretty impressive episode. I think of one of those. Was it? I think it was Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yes.
With the
Mandalorian season.
It was funny, right? Because they had the stormtroopers like bantering.
Yes.
And
season,
talking.
The finale, I think, or it was either the finale or the episode before the finale that he directed. Yeah. And he also starred in as IG-11. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's a series
you mess
of
up, it's like too bad. It's all business. You have friends within the business. You have friends within the business. That's very rare. Like we have the example of Channing Tatum and Ryan Reynolds, who Channing Tatum on his whole victory lap tour here with his character.
It doesn't really happen on the executive.
He's literally saying that Ryan's the only guy who's had his back, and like throughout Hollywood and stuff, and like him giving him this chance to play this character that he's loved since he was a kid. Is just a dream come true for him.
Yeah, I feel like some of that is a little disingenuous. Like it's a little bit like high on their own supply, because it's like he's a wildly successful actor. He's a highly successful actor.
Who?
It's Channing Tatum. It strikes me as a situation of where like, what do you mean no one's had his back? Like, he's been in so many movies, like that.
But it's the show. It's the show businessy that we're talking. Like, because he tried to get that movie made, and then it just the studios would nothing would back him. I think he's just talking in that context.
Okay, yeah.
You know
Fair
what I mean?
enough. It kind of seems like, you know how in sports people are like, everyone hates us and we use that as fuel because we know we're the best. You know what I mean? Like that attitude, which is like largely manufactured, I think, but like it's effective, to like delude yourself into believing that you're the underdog, so that
sit high in your own supply.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone likes their own brand. Back to Batman Crusader, because I didn't get to finish my thoughts on that. That was a bit of a long tangent. Just quick recap on where we were. Comparison between X-Men 97 and Batman Caped Crusader. X-Men 97 taking the direct sequel approach, but with new creatives involved. But one in almost a fan service or fan film-esque way, where it's like, we watched this as kids and now it's my chance to make it, right?
And it's not inserting oneself onto the canvas that the X-Men is. It's servicing, paying reverence to what that
it's
is.
Literally sequel to the original. It's like, we're just going to continue more of the same, right?
Like, what would make the most sense, like really cool sense, basically, in going that route, and not just going super crazy where it's like, hey, I don't care to watch this.
Right. So I guess the question is, like, in an alternate reality, would you have been more interested in a Batman the Animated Series sequel, essentially, knowing that you wouldn't be able to have the original voice cast really back in the same way?
No, I think it's the genie's out of the bottle at this point too. Like,
yeah, well, Kevin Conroy's passed away, and
but X-Men, I don't know. There's just so much. Like, there's so many more characters. You know what I mean? Like, we got how many seasons of Batman plus Batman in the Justice League,
yes,
plus Batman Beyond, a version of him,
right?
It's like
Batman the Superman show,
that whole thing with Bruce Timm, incredible stuff. But it was also spawned off of the Tim Burton Batman live action.
That was a major influence,
like mythos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that was this whole tone, look, and feel, and they kind of blended the comics plus the Tim Burton verse into one, and it created this magical kind of timeless Batman show with the greatest voice actors of all time. But then even that notion can bounce around, because, like, look at Wolverine's, the voice acting of Wolverine, or even Rogue in the new X-Men, and it's the same actors, and they're just killing it. So you got to give up to Kevin Conroy,
completely the entire cast, though, right? Like, they did
no, like, there's a new Gambit, but I think they got that old Gambit actor to voice someone new anyways.
Right. Well, and also the person who voiced Xavier passed away, I think.
Right.
So,
and then I think for Jubilee, the actress didn't want to do it anymore because she's white, so they kind of want to do like the whole
but then she played older Jubilee anyway.
Yes, and the send off. So the voice acting in our cartoons over the years have been phenomenal.
It's crazy. It's crazy that these people don't get more respect, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It's wild. Okay. So that brings us, I think, catches up to where we are with Batman Caped Crusader, which is not a direct follow-up, but in my opinion is not more timeless, but it's its own unique timelessness for this, like, more adventures with Batman. It uses your existing knowledge. It's like, we're not going to litigate, Batman's origins or that kind of thing. It's just more adventures with Batman in this more grounded, a little bit more gritty, a little bit more adult version of Batman the Animated Series. It's kind of like they're doing that thing where, when you get a retro video game remake where it feels like what you remember it as, but not actually what it was, Whereas I remember Batman the Animated Series as being very gritty, but if you go back, they do pull their punches a lot. And this show does not really do that. There's some pretty cool action beats, and very dark themes. And they even don't shy away from supernatural stuff, which I think is fun. And I think, although they do supernatural stuff with Batman the Animated Series, this feels like feels fresh in its approach. And despite not having Kevin Conroy, they cast Hamish Linklater as Batman, and you could argue, and people have said that he's doing like a Kevin Conroy impersonation, kind of
mixed with Jensen Ackles
a little bit. But I would say it's like, if you're gonna do the role and you're gonna be working with Bruce Timm, and it's kind of like in that same vein, it's not an exact replica of Conroy, but he's the GOAT. So if you're going to copy somebody, you might as well copy the best, right? And I think it totally works. I think it's a great voice performance from Batman, from Hamish Linklater for Batman. And you also have like other kind of like smaller roles played by in really solid way. Like John DiMaggio plays Bullock, and he's great as that. And Diedrich Bader, who has a history as Batman in Batman, trying to remember which one he did now. Anyway, the more childish one that came in the mid to late 2000s. He's really great as Harvey Dent, and they do this whole extended, you didn't see it all, but they do this extended Harvey Dent multi-episode arc, and it's very satisfying. It's obviously set up for way more. It's different than Batman, the animated series, but like not so different that I can't just enjoy the amazing Bruce Timm art, right? This like very specific style and tone that apes Batman the Animated Series with just a little bit more edginess. It's willing to be more invested in surrounding characters. It's not just about Batman, right? So you get a lot more Montoya, and you get a lot more of this alternate version of Harley Quinn that's very different, which is interesting because we're going to get another different version of Harley Quinn for Joker 2. But at first, I think you see some of these changes and you're like, it's not what I'm used to. But then when you think, you step back, it just totally fits into the world that they've created. Like their version of Clayface, for instance, maybe the best episode of the series, probably, and so good. It's very different than the big clay monster they have in Batman the Animated Series, but is telling a much more like, I don't want a mature story. It's a lot slower, a lot more deliberate in its pacing and the kind of emotional underpinnings and stakes that they want to employ. I think it's really, really amazing. Like, I'm happy it exists in a similar way that I'm happy that X-Men 97 exists. It's more of something I like in a way that I might like even more than the original, because we get this kind of 2024 4K version of the animation that is Bruce Timm's work. It just looks absolutely stunning. And then you get these really fresh takes. It's just, I don't know. It's just everything about it. It feels like this perfect, like noir detective story that I've wanted from Batman for a long time. Feels similar to The Batman. Obviously, the director for that film, what's his name, is
Matt
involved
Reeves.
Is involved here. So, there's a lot of executive producers and producers on this show that you'd recommend, that you recognize. But I think in general, this is a hit for me. This is a success for me. And I would really encourage you, Jeremy, to like finish the series, because I think it starts poorly. I think it's really strong as it gets closer to it. Like, it ramps up into, I think, way more interesting and engaging stories as it gets closer to the end of the season. So yeah, if folks out there haven't seen it or haven't given it a shot on Amazon Prime, 100% got to give it a shot. So again, impressed with the content that we get from Amazon Prime. We don't get a lot from them, to be honest. It's kind of few and far between, but what we do get has proven to be pretty good, especially as of late. Speaking of which, Jeremy, did you see that? Was it Level Up, or that anthology series from the folks from Love, Death, and Robots, who are doing like a video game animated anthology coming to Amazon Prime? Did you hear about that?
Nope.
So they're doing, I can't remember what it's called now. Again, it's like called Level Up, or video game anthology series, Amazon. It is called Secret Level, and it's pretty cool. I mean, again, you've got this kind of anthology 3D animated mini episodes, right? You watch Love, Death, and Robots, or at least a few of them, right?
I don't think so.
You didn't watch a single one of those episodes? Man, you're missing out. Great stuff on Netflix. This is from a lot of the same creators. It's going to have Blur Studios and a bunch of others involved, but it's going to be Dungeons and Dragons, Armored Core, Spelunky, Pac-Man, Mega Man, God of War. There's a whole bunch that I'm probably missing, but a whole bunch of random video games that they're doing, including an Armored Core one that stars Keanu Reeves. What else am I missing? Sifu, Warhammer 40,000, Exodus. Some of these I've never heard of. Crossfire, Concord, etc. But either way, that's coming later to Amazon Prime also. Anywho, that's kind of the main stuff. Anything you want to touch on before we wrap things up, Jeremy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a list of anything, so.
Okay, well, here, I'll throw a couple at you. We'll do speed round here, okay? Dan Trachtenberg's next Predator movie, Badlands, has begun filming. It stars Elle Fanning, and it'll be set sometime in the future. Does that excite you?
I guess.
You liked Prey, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I also like Prey. My bold hot take at the time was that it's the best Predator movie. And
no.
Yes, I know you disagree. But either way, it was great, and I'm excited to see more. I guess it's nice to be living in a world again, because Alien Romulus has done really well at the box office. It's a success. 200, well, not really, really well, not in pre-COVID era time frame, but it's like $250 million or $350 million off an $80 million budget. So it's a success. And now we had the last Prey movie. It's just nice to be back in a world where Alien and Predator are both relevant and good again. You know what I mean? So, anyway, look for more. We'll talk more about that later. Okay. Let's see here. Ted Lasso is going to come back for season 4. This is exciting for me. But it is odd because they were very adamant that it was over at the end of season 3. So anyway, Jason Sudeikis is back. And so are the rest of the big stars from that show. So it might not have been as good as the first season, but I'm happy to spend more time with those characters. Does that move the needle for you at all, Jeremy?
No.
I didn't think so. There is a trailer for Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. This is an anime Lord of the Rings movie set before the events of Lord of the Rings, obviously, but specifically around the events of the Rohan. They're under attack, and this is when kind of like Helm's Deep gets its name, and you get King Helm. I'm sure I'm butchering some of this lore stuff, but that's what it's about. You can find a trailer of that online. By the way, there's also a trailer for Sonic 3, which has Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog, and it looks pretty entertaining, Jeremy. I'm not going to lie. And by the way, no less, it does include the return of Dr. Robotnik. So Jim Carrey comes back for that. And if you just want to see some wacky Jim Carrey again, I very much encourage people to go watch the Sonic movies. They are pretty damn funny, even if they're for kids. You know, it is what it is. All right, what else? 9 Inch Nails is doing the music for the next Tron movie, Tron Ares. I feel like this is the best case scenario. In fact, I don't know, I can't prove this, but I feel like at one point we said the only other people we would want to do the soundtrack for Tron, if it couldn't be Daft Punk, was Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, which is that's essentially what 9 Inch Nails is. So I guess we win in some case. I don't know. I'm still very skeptical about that movie. I love Tron Legacy. I think it's criminally underrated. I have big concerns about Jared Leto. As just an actor.
Jared Leto hater.
I'm a bit of a hater. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit of a Jared Leto hater. He needs to prove to me. He needs to show me he's not what Morbius is. Just show me he's more than Morbius, and I'll be and obviously he has done more than that. I get that, but he hasn't done that lately, and I'm skeptical. That's all I'm saying. What else? That's probably it. I think the main stuff. I could keep going back further in the timeline here, but I think I'm happy with where we are. I mentioned that they're doing a different version of Joker for or Harley Quinn for Joker 2. And by the way, we'll end on this, Jeremy. Okay. Speaking of Joker 2, we'll do a quick agree or disagree. All right. On something Todd Phillips, the director of Joker, has to say. He says, Todd Phillips says, fans who care about the high budget of Joker 2 sound like movie execs. Quote, shouldn't people be happy that we got this money out of them? Then we used it to hire a bunch of crew and people who can feed their families, unquote. In similar kind of vein to, I guess, James Cameron and his kind of whole shtick about the people need to kind of like take a step back and be like, does it really matter how much the budget of Joker 2 is? I understand where that sentiment comes from. It's like everyone needs to chillax. This is just movies. But I guess I kind of disagree here. But maybe, Jeremy, any quick thoughts on Todd Phillips and kind of his stance on people caring about movie budgets?
Okay, what's the...
Do you agree with Todd Phillips that people shouldn't give a shit about that?
No.
Okay. I agree with you, for the record. Why not? Or why?
It's just about the product. Like, as long as it's entertaining or a good movie, like, we're not going to be questioning the budget.
Okay, so I disagree. I do slightly disagree with you. Okay. We'll get to that, but continue. Sorry.
I just don't think it should be taken into account on, like, it's a success if the budget's super low and it makes X amount, right? Like that's
not a metric. You're saying that's not a metric for what makes a good movie?
No.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's true.
But people will use the budget when it is a bad movie. The budget is discussed.
That's
whether
true.
It was a waste of money.
If it's a flop or not.
They wasted hundreds of millions of dollars. Like the Borderlands movie or whatever, right?
Oh, like yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, yes. But again, it's just all about the finished product. Like, what are we watching? What do we want to share? What do we want to talk about? Is it worth it? And then the conversation turns onto money, whether it's successful or a failure.
Sure. I think you're right in some cases, but I don't think you're 100% correct here, because on one hand, you're right. Nobody cares if Fast and Furious 10 costs $700 million if it makes $1.5 billion, right? That being said, I think as fans of movies, and again, to be clear, I agree with you that how much money a movie makes is not an indicator of quality. And I think those two things get construed often, right? Oh, it was a failure at the box office, therefore it's a failure as a movie. But that's not how it works. I mean, Blade Runner was a failure at the box office. Blade Runner 2049, which is one of maybe the greatest sci-fi movies ever made, was a failure at the box office, and that movie is a masterpiece, right? So that I agree. I think that's not controversial at all. That I make it more controversial saying this, though, that I think it's fair and right for fans of movies to criticize studios. And maybe like Todd Phillips is right. Like, maybe he's not the right audience to have that conversation with. Like, Todd Phillips is part of the people making money from that $300 million budget or whatever Joker 2 costs, right? And he's right in the sense that, like, as an artist, to get the money from the studio to make something that you believe in is in of itself a victory. It's like, okay, you're going to fund my art? Great. You know what I mean? On the other hand, how often do we see studio executives writing checks for things that probably don't deserve it, right? And it's not, this is a zero-sum game when it comes to finances in Hollywood. So funding Fast and Furious 10 for $750 million means that, and I think about this all the time. I can't remember who said it. I should really write that down so I can be a better attributor. But at the Oscars last year, and he shouted out as he won his award, is like, make less $100 million movies, make $10 million movies, right? And I kind of agree with that sentiment, which is just in general that it's fair to say, hey, man, this cash grab, and you could argue that Joker 2 is a cash grab, though it kind of walks the line of kind of like artistic integrity versus commercial product, I think. Being a sequel and also a adaptation of a comic book character that really, the first one is it's very widely different from the first. Anyway, that kind of stuff. But as someone who watches movies, and again, just as we talked about the kind of the collapse of the television system, so too can movies collapse in that same way by funding these massive failures like Borderlands, and others that don't, which means ultimately that people get laid off and people, it's harder to get, more of that stuff made. So I don't know. I kind of come down on both sides of this, but I think largely speaking, I think Todd Phillips as the beneficiary is maybe not the right person to comment on this ultimately, but as fans of this stuff and as critics, like, and mostly fans, I think let's remove the critics part of it, but as fans, I think we're kind of owed answers around like, hey, if you're making stuff that you're selling to me, I kind of care how much it costs, because if you make things that are too big to fail, it can negatively impact the larger industry that I also care for, right? So I don't know. It's a complicated issue. Any other thoughts on that?
No.
All right. Well, then, on that case, let's wrap it up. We'll hope to come back to do another one of these soon. But again, the schedule being a little all over the place as it is. Again, look for the Patreon exclusive film club in the Patreon feed, either later this week or early next. So stay tuned for that. Patreon.com/TowerBabblecast for that. Follow us on Twitter at TowerBabblecast, Facebook.com/TowerBabblecast, and head over to the website towerbabble.ca, where you can find all the work, including, as Jeremy mentioned, just brief shout out. If you have not seen the HBO Watchmen series, first of all, what are you doing? Go do that now. It's great. Go watch the HBO Watchmen series. But also, in our archive on towerbubble.ca, you can find our companion show that was a kind of mini-series podcast in and of itself that covers each episode week to week. So find that over at towerbabble.ca, I think /archive or something like that. And you'll find it there for Watchmen on HBO. Also, of course, by the way, Game of Thrones and the first season, the first and best season of Westworld, also from HBO. Those are all in the archive. Okay, we'll be back soon. There's a whole bunch of irons in the fire right now. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, and we look forward to more TOB very soon. Talk to you then.